Hey MOMnation, Katie here with your Thursday Live and Learn. I am so excited because, where is she here? Let's get her on. Ms. JD, aka Jen Duncan, is with us today. Oh gosh, let me get back to you here, guys. Sorry, you're probably watching me finger all around my phone here. But anyway, there she is. Hey JD. Uh-oh, it says that I can't bring you on, JD. Did you accept it? Oh, it's adding her now. So while she is coming, again, super excited. She is one of my most favorite people. Of course, JD and I do work together. There she is.
Wait, let me just make sure this thing's clean. Can you see me at all?
Yeah, I can see you okay. It's a little bit fuzzy, but it's fine by me. You're still
weird.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
I love your shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
All right, ladies, so we are here with the new build ninja herself, the famous, the lovely, the unbelievable Jen Duncan. And we're going to go real quick with you today, right, Jen? So we've got four quick tips if you're thinking about buying new.
Sure do.
All right, so what's our first one?
Our first one, choosing your lot.
Ah, that's a good one.
Right? Some of the biggest tips that I have are to take a look at where it is. So let's say if it's backing up to a road or something like that, you're going to want to see what might be back there, like if they're extending the roads and stuff like that, to see if it'll become more busy.
Right. So the builder may not have this information, correct?
Right.
So it's always good to do your due diligence and check in with the city and just check in with the city planning and all of that good junk to make sure that what you expect this to be in 5 years, it still is or is going to be. Right. Or at least know if there's something that's going to be built there to obstruct your view or to deplete your resale. So thinking about resale, right?
Yeah. I mean, like right now we have a mountain view, but that might get blocked once all the trees grow. So you don't want to get all excited about it and then be bummed out later. But also for resale too, there's a lot of people who won't buy a house that backs up to a major road. So you got to think about that.
Right. And so when you can kind of go by lot premiums, I think, right, to know what a good lot for resale is. So you're going to pay a little bit more for a better lot. So like cul-de-sac lots, lots that are a little bit more extended, pie shape, that pie shape that you would find mostly in a cul-de-sac. Right. Corner lots are a little more highly sought after. But again, we don't want to back commercial. We don't want to back major roads, things like that.
Right, definitely.
Any other tips on the lot?
Look at what direction it faces too.
Good one.
Because if you're east-west facing, you might get a lot of sun in the evening and it might get really hot and then your AC bills might be higher.
Good point. So good point.
North-south is generally preferred.
North, right.
And that's what a lot of clients like for resale purposes too.
In fact, I've had buyers, and you probably have too, that say, don't show me anything that faces east-west. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Let's just take it right out of the search altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have the most bomb-ass house with all the upgrades, but it faces east-west. And that's not to say they don't sell. These are just things to keep in mind for resale down the road. You could have the most bomb house and it just never gets looked at because somebody's requiring a north-south facing. Yeah,
and even like for your own personal comfort too. Like if my room is hot, I just won't be happy. We don't like to sleep. So something to think about.
Totally. Who does? So you got some really good ones, and I know that you're going to get to them. But I think even before the lot comes into the conversation, like what about when people are still looking? Like there's so much information out there, and there's so many builders out there. Like what kinds of things should they compare? Should they look for? All of that before even deciding on a builder or a community?
Look at what you want in a community, of course. Obviously, like Eastmark, they have like a billion builders here. There's like over floor plans to choose from. So there's something for everyone. But all the builders aren't made equally. So some of them are more efficient than others. Some of them, their upgrades aren't as expensive. So even if a price might be higher, once you get to the design center, it might not be so bad. Also, what else?
Well, like they have also different build times, earnest deposit requirements, sections of the contract when certain deposits need to be made. Like all that's different.
Yeah, I mean, there's a builder here, they require $9,000 for earnest deposit, which is not doable for some people. Yeah, especially if you're doing the grant program, you know, that if you're planning on having almost zero down, it's a little bit hard to come up with $9,000.
That's a lot. Well, let's just put it into perspective for people. So the normal earnest deposit is about 1%. So if you're looking at a $3,000 house, you're thinking of, you know, a $300,000 house, you're about $3,000 for your earnest deposit, right? So 9,000 is actually equivalent to like a $900,000 house.
Right, and we've been able to negotiate it down, which is good. But there's a builder here that is only $2,000 for earnest deposit, and you don't have to sell your house first in order to
contingencies.
Yeah, so some builders, they require you to sell your house right away, and then you have to do a double move. But there is a builder here where you can start the whole process for only $2,000 and then sell your house towards the end and try to make it a seamless move, which is really attractive to a lot of people.
Very attractive, but you don't know that unless you know what all the builders offer and what the differences are and what their different rules and requirements are.
Yeah, and they all talk crap about each other. So like one builder will be like, oh, that builder doesn't do that. But then if you go and ask them, maybe they do. So it's a good idea to gather it all and then look at it in the bigger picture.
And it's also, I think, you know, you said about negotiation. So there's so many things that the general public doesn't know. You can negotiate with builders. And it's also very important to understand, and this is why you're amazing, because you do it day after day after day after day. So you just tend to like just retain this information, right? So it's really important to know what all these different builders offer, how that affects the bottom line and the experience throughout the build time and the transaction. And then there's the build times themselves.
Yeah, for sure. We also talked about design center stuff. They're all different there too.
Right, and that'll really make you cry if you get there without the appropriate expectations, won't it?
Yeah, I know of someone who went in, they didn't have an agent, and they went into the design center crying, or they came out crying, because the guy at the office said that their flooring would only be like $10,000 and it ended up being 20. So they ended up way over because that builder doesn't allow you to see the pricing ahead of time.
And so that's just a whole other mess because, and let's talk about the design center more, but now you're playing with resale mind and value. I mean, with resale value and resale in mind, you always want to think with the end in mind, right? What's that going to do to the appraised value? So you just went in and you just dumped a buttload of money into this house, and your appraisal is probably going to be fine to purchase the house, but what if you get a job transfer, or what if for some reason you have to move? It's going to take you a long time to catch up if you over upgrade your house. So I mean, how scary is that?
Right. I mean, for us, we went really conservative, but some people spent $100,000 more than we did, and I can't imagine if they try to sell, because the ones who have tried to sell already had to take a little bit lower.
Right.
So it's a good idea to look at the builders too and what they offer standard, because you don't want to have some people that just do the basics and then you go way up, and then what if they sell and someone's like, well, why would I pay $100,000 more for your house over theirs?
It's kind of like when you buy a car brand new and it reduces in value when you pull it off the lot. It's kind of the same thing, right? So something to think about. And so, you know, understanding with resale in mind, how long you expect to be in this house that you build is really important too. I mean, if you're dying in the house, then who gives a shit, right? But if your intention is to, you know, sell it and move in a couple of years or something like that, then these are things you really need to think about.
Oh yeah, and like, some people don't realize what the cost of things will be either. So sometimes they're not that bad. Some builders aren't bad, and some charge a lot for their upgrades. So it could create a lot of stress on your marriage. I've seen a lot of, marriages fall apart, and then, we talk about it and then see that it's actually not that bad to have something that they really love. And then they kind of calm down a little. But numbers scare people.
Really and truly, I totally agree with you. So let's talk more about Design Center. So what types of things can people do to set themselves up appropriately, to have the right expectation, to go in and not be wooed by the shiny, pretty things and come out $100 grand later, and stick to the budget? And let's talk about that.
Some things we can do is sometimes I'm able to get a hold of the list of upgrades from the builder, just because I know a lot of them, and they'll send it over to me, or
your friends, and you probably have them from previous sales anyway.
I do know of the builders that will give up that info. So if it's important to you to stick to a budget and not have a lot of variables, then there's certain builders we should look at. Going into the Design Center too, I would create a list of things that you have to have, things that are on your wish list, and then things that you can do later. Like for us, our faucet option was like $500 through the builder, and it wasn't even like fancy. And then so we just got the basic one and bought one at Lowe's later, and it's nicer.
So that's really important right there. See, you don't necessarily need to go in with the expectation that you're going to outfit your whole house upgraded the way you want it. Let's face it, we all want our house the way we want it. It's awesome to walk into a house that you love. But there are things that you should pay the builder premium for because it's a real pain in the ass to do later. And there are things that you probably should reconsider paying the builder premium for, right?
For sure. Like cabinets, I would do that through the builder. That's just me. Kind of a pain in the butt to rip out and do later. Think about cabinet styles too. Like brown is not really in right now. And I mean, if you like it, cool. But
if you're gonna dye the house, great, get brown.
Yeah. But like, let's say, the standard is brown and you want to save money, but the white or black option is only like $2,000 more. That's like $10 a month. And if you're going to spend $10 a month to love your house, I think it's worth it.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. There is a quality of life factor.
Yeah. And flooring too. Like I don't want to replace flooring and baseboards and stuff like that. So it was worth it to me to just have them do it.
Right. Because it's before you move. Otherwise you're moving all your crap out. Paint's probably the same thing.
Paint is kind of weird. Like actually some builders include it, which is really cool. So you don't have to deal with that. But for us, it was like $3,500 to paint the whole house, and it's 2,300 square feet. So we just got it done ourselves after with a better quality, and that was fine. So we just saved money and did it so that we're not paying interest on paint for 30 years.
Right. So it's wise to go in with a budget in mind. Understand what the pricing is up front so you don't have sticker shock or you don't get, distracted by the shiny thing. And it's wise to have a list and to know what makes the most sense to pay the builder for or to do on your own after the fact.
Yes.
Would you say those are probably the top 3 tips for the Design Center?
I think so. And just like you got to expect to spend like the whole day there, but just expect that things aren't going to go exactly how you want, but we can talk them over and make you feel better about it and kind of compare. It's always been a positive outcome when I've gone, but I mean, there's always going to be hiccups and stuff, but we kind of avoid crazy things, divorces and stuff like that, just by talking out like how much things really are in the big picture.
Right. And you have a couple of really, really intensely funny stories about that. But I agree. It's really important to not make any, quick decisions and to really talk with somebody like you that has done it 1,000 times, that gets it, that you know, you gain experience by watching others do things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah, and I thought through ours too.
Correct, right. So if this is like your first go around, you're not going to be anywhere near as experienced. You're not going to be able to see red flags before they arrive. You're not going to be able to be proactive unless you know this stuff. It's like the biggest purchase of your life. You got to know.
Right. And
I get so passionate.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And then when I say it, I'll be like, oh, that's a good idea.
Exactly. So real quick, because I know you got to go get your kiddo, and it's probably like getting to that point in time. So my apologies for keeping you on a little longer. But your last tip when we chatted, which I thought was really, really interesting and very important, Nicole Osler will also appreciate it, is inspections. People think, oh, it's a new house. I don't need an inspection. Everything's going to work great. Wrong go. So tell me about
Right. So we had them out to do the frame inspection, and that went really well, like before they put the insulation and drywall in. But our closing actually got pushed up, and it just came up so fast, and I was so stressed that we didn't end up doing the final inspection before moving in. We were just like, we'll just hit it at the 1 year, because they will fix things at 1 year.
Right.
Well, he just did our 1 year, and he noticed that some of the air ducts are kinked up there, and there's a spot, you know, like our long hallway with the big circle, what do they call them, turrets or something? Actually spots that are missing insulation, so there's like hot spots over there, so that could be costing us money.
Right. So you're like throwing dollars out the door here because the builder screwed something up, and it happens. I mean, they're workers, they hire workers, it happens. They're putting up mass amounts of properties, right? So we have to expect there's going to be something that happens.
I get it. And if I could go back, I would have had him do it, because the cost to have him inspect it, we would have saved on our electric bills throughout the year. So that was a learning experience. So we'll get it fixed, but I wish we were more proactive about it.
Right. Things you need to know.
I would have pushed I was my agent, but I would have pushed myself to do it.
Right. Well, lesson learned, and luckily learned on you. So you learned it on yourself, which you can't have better than that. And, you know, you just throw that in your bucket of experience that you just keep building upon. So I love it. Good stuff. Anything else that we didn't go over that is just a quickie tip you think we should go over?
Blue tape walkthroughs, just work with me so I can be at your blue tape walkthrough.
JD has found some pretty crazy stuff.
Walls, cabinets that were different styles, all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, that's a very important one. And some people blow it off. Can you believe that?
I wouldn't. There's been a lot. Like the last one, their inspection list was pretty long.
Yeah.
And they got it all fixed, so it was great. But I noticed a lot of things that, you know, you're in the moment, and you're excited and stuff like that, that you're not thinking. So I'm like, oh, hey, is this wall supposed to be crooked like that? You know, let's look at that.
Yeah. Is that part of the floor plan? I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't cost a buyer or anything. We actually hook you up with $500, so why not?
That's true. That's true. You can always use it toward your inspection. Which phone number?
480-707-7554.
And where can people find you and get all your cool new build stuff? Because you have cheat sheets and stuff, right?
Yeah, I have a cheat sheet. I have a new build like matchmaker form. So like, you want to fill it out and tell me what you're looking for, then I can pick out a good community for you, and we can go check it out.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Say it again.
I said just message me on Facebook. I'm always on.
That's true. I can attest. She's always on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, New Build Ninja. It was a pleasure having you. I love seeing you. I get to see you often, but I love it every single time. So, MOMnation, likes, comments, bump it up to the top. We want to know if this is content that you are loving, if this is stuff that really helps you out, if these, you know, my whole idea behind the Live and Learn is that you are taking something away from this day, this moment that you are watching us, that you can implement immediately. So that is my goal. I hope that it is happening out there in your world. And happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Bye.